Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd. Tonight, we've got a full show for you. The Federal Reserve places a hold on raising interest rates. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets on becoming the winning NBA championship team. Former President Trump was indicted in Miami yesterday, and at least 9 are shot in a targeted and isolated incident in San Francisco's Mission District. Brittany Griner's Mercury teammates confronted by an airport provocateur in the airport with Brittany Griner, and Stephen with NASCAR. First up, Stephen, what's going on with NASCAR?
Well, we had what I love the most as a road course is in California, it's Sonoma. And it's generally a pretty good race. It had some really good racing amongst a couple of drivers, but not with everybody. It wasn't anything was very breathtaking in this race. And it started out pretty good for me, but it ended up the teammate of who I wanted to won the race. It was Martin Truex, beat out Denny Hamlin. And Denny started first, led a bunch of the race, and then just fell apart. I don't even know what happened to him. But Martin Truex Jr. deserved it. It was a good. It was, if I would say this in like I put one word on this race, uneventful. And it's unusual for a road course. I don't know. Maybe they've changed something. Maybe they've done something with the car. Maybe I don't know what they've done. But it wasn't the best race of the year like you think it would be. And I'm pretty sure they're off for a couple of weeks. I'll check the stats before I get off. I've just been so busy with hockey and basketball nearly every day that racing needs to. It has a bigger, wide open space so people can pay more attention to them. But I think they're off for 2 weeks now, and where they come back is probably a 1.5 mile track is what they usually do when they come off a race like this. Just something normal. But All right. It was good. It was
Thank
okay.
You.
Sorry, it was about a bit of a downer.
I bet. Aguna. NBA, Denver Nuggets. It wasn't the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I think, it wasn't the 76ers, even though I'm wearing my Sixers shirt today. It was a matter of time. I think Djokovic was destined to win a title. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him, but it's kind of bittersweet because I think he deserved it. He played lights out. I'm kind of disappointed with Jimmy Butler that he didn't come through. I'm surprised they won one game. What did it finally end up being? 4-1 series?
Yeah.
But it was just, I'm surprised they got one in there because I think Denver was clearly the better team. They were clearly a team on a mission, and they brought it home. So they played perfect throughout the playoffs. I know that Lakers series kind of got down to the wire a little bit, but yeah, they deserved it. Djokovic deserved it, and he was MVP last year. Now he's a world champion this year. So congratulations to Denver, as much as that hurts for me to say.
I know. It hurts me to hear it. Stephen, you said you were watching basketball a lot. Did you want to talk about what you were watching? I guess you're watching a championship, right?
That's correct. And Butler was hurt. He got hurt before this started, and he wasn't the same. He wasn't shooting as well and making as many points. And it's not an excuse because he really did get hurt, and his numbers showed that. And I was rooting for them coming from as far back as they did, having to go to a team that is better than they are, but a team they could hang with. I think if Butler had been nearly 100%, but I mean, nobody is really, maybe 90%, but yeah, he was not doing too well. But I was rooting for both teams because they did so well for me up into that point and through the final 5 games. It was great basketball this year. The playoffs were wonderful. Loved everything about it. Some teams didn't get in that I'd want to get in, but I think these two teams deserved the most. And it was like watching a Super Bowl with the two best teams in it. And I think that was how this should have been this year. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, and even though I wouldn't necessarily say Miami was the best team, they were definitely the best team in the playoffs because they were the eighth seed, right? So, but that still in and of itself is a good news story. If the eighth seed should get to the finals, I mean, that goes to show you kind of the parity in the NBA, similar to the NHL, where the finals the playoffs are a whole different season, right? So, lessons learned there. You can do great during the playoffs. I've experienced that personally this weekend where my team went through the whole playoffs and we didn't get it done in the championship game flag football wise. So it's a whole different ball game when you're in the playoffs. You got to start over from zero. So that it just shows you how competitive it is.
I think the other coach from the Heat said they're not playing like an 8. They're not playing like an 8. They were playing much better than an 8. Like you said, when they're in the playoffs, it was a whole different team, and they were really, really going after it. It was nice to watch. Like people were fighting for their lives. It seemed like.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it. I could care less. The Eagles were not there.
The Sixers.
I mean, the Sixers.
She's channeling Todd.
So, but it's good. Even in the East, though, you had 2 Game 7s, right? Back-to-back Game 7 series like that. So, I mean, you can't ask for any, much better, basketball than that. So,
yeah, I would have liked for it to go to both, go to 7. I wish hockey had as well, but I'll take what we get. And last night is just ridiculous. I think the Panthers should just fold up and never play again. Dismantle the whole team.
You're talking about the Vegas Golden Knights beating the Florida Panthers?
Yes. Okay. Basically in the same fashion as the Nuggets did. So the Florida teams just got wiped out, nearly embarrassed. Yeah. So that's how it was this year. And that was the best team. That Golden Knights was awesome. I mean, what did they score? I think they scored 103 points last night. More than the Heat scored. They scored so many points.
They went off, and I think part of it. I think Vegas that's the shortest time from. I think the Flyers were up there though. The Flyers were like 6 or 7 years, or maybe 8 years before from inception to championship. I don't know what were the Golden Knights? Were they like 4 or 5 years or something like that?
I think 5 years.
Quickest ever. Yeah. So. Man, that goes to show you how in hockey they had parity too, where you could go from an expansion franchise to world champions in such a short period of time. That typically doesn't happen. Definitely doesn't happen in the NFL. But I mean, it goes to show you how different hockey is, especially when you get to the playoffs.
Panthers.
Let me share my screen. So if you look at our screen, not just my screen, but if you look at our screen. You'll see that yesterday's final was Panthers 3, Golden Knights 9. Congratulations to the Golden Knights on being able to drink out of that cup.
Yeah, and they took it all the way to the World Series. Good for them.
I mean, that's exciting. A lot.
Well, Todd,
that's a
God bless you, Todd. God bless you.
Yeah, Todd. Boy, Todd is.
So let me move on to WNBA. Brittany Griner, this article is written by ESPN Alexa Philippou, a YouTube personality, tried to push his way, can you see that, through the Phoenix Mercury security personnel to get to Brittany Griner while she and the team were at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport last Saturday morning. Alex Stein, that's the name of the person who the WNBA described as a provocateur, approached Griner while team members were walking on a concourse to catch a flight to Indiana for a Sunday tip-off following 2 games against the Dallas Wings. A Mercury security representative stayed between Griner and the man, but Stein pushed security personnel. According to the police report, the guard then pushed Stein against a wall on the concourse, and Griner waited behind a gate area until officers arrived. So the good news is that Brittany Griner is fine. The good news is that man, even though he had a ticket and was able to be in the airport, you know, Aguna is always saying, did they buy a ticket? Did they buy a ticket to the gift shop? So at least
did they register at the gift shop? That's the thing. Did they register to go into the Capitol at the gift shop?
right. So obviously he registered, got a ticket, and was on a flight. But really
is
weird.
Stacey
He ended
trying
up
to
at the same
belittle
time.
that whole situation?
Of course.
No.
What is he
No,
doing?
I was making a joke really about Aguna.
What was his goal? What was that man trying to do?
We don't know what his goal was. Do you know what his goal was? But the man was trying to get physical with Griner, but that never happened.
He was trying to attack her?
Yeah, and the thing is, why are the players for the WNBA, why are they flying commercial? Why wouldn't they fly charter?
They don't make enough money.
Oh, come on.
They don't make enough money.
Yeah.
But Stacey, Brittany Griner is going to start riding on a private jet now. So I think this guy did her a favor because now she gets her own private jet. So maybe she paid him off or something so she could get the perks of a private jet and don't have to go commercial no more. I mean, it's pretty smart, isn't it? It's pretty smart.
Well, of course, black people
I
do
think
all
that
kind of
people,
trickery, not white.
I think because of social media and that we're in a very data-driven age, people have access to people and they just feel that they have the right to get in their face and engage them when in fact they don't. I mean, this shouldn't have been anything. As a fan or as a critic or whatever, he should not threaten a woman or anybody or athlete. This is, a lot of times we dehumanize athletes and we think that just because we have an opinion about their situation, we have the right to do certain things and get in their face and let them know how we feel and all this other stuff. And it's not. These are people too, so we need to respect that.
Absolutely.
Well, we have to call him by his name. He's not a woman. He's a man. Griner's a man.
What?
Griner is a man. He's not a woman. He's a man.
Do you have firsthand knowledge? Leave it
to Keith to drag it down to the mud. That's what he does. He drags it down to the mud and everything. He just has to.
You have firsthand knowledge.
That's the dark web talking. He has to give his dark web sponsors a
Have
shout.
you ever heard him speak?
Keith, you can't call a woman a man. You can't do that.
You gotta realize that's firsthand proof. He wants to take on that issue head on, so he wants to kind of get that plug in there. So
and I'll tell you why.
He's got no woman.
He's infatuated with Bruce Jenner. He's and so he never got over the fact that Bruce Jenner changed his sex. So he's devastated by it, and so now he's got a vengeance against every gay person or trans person. He is sick. Why are you so fixated and fascinated by this, Keith and Stephen?
Natural law says a man.
Why are you interested? Why are you interested?
I'm telling you why. Because it's an inflection on society. It brings society down. That's why we're having.
Ma'am, are you having sex with these people?
No, sir.
Then why are you interested?
Because it brings
that
all
is
of society
awfully
down.
peculiar that you would be so consumed with this particular topic. That is peculiar, Keith.
That's why society is down now.
You're not consumed with liars.
The only reason society is down is because of that one topic that you want to address, not because there's a lot of other things that we can talk about.
You're not consumed.
You want to focus on Brittany Griner.
Okay, Keith, you're not consumed with liars or adulterers.
I won't let it go.
No, of course you won't let it go because you're
people who covet
with it.
Not without a comment. And my comment is that natural law shall prevail in the end, because you will still be answering to God for
Yeah,
what
but
you
you
do.
can't
You
force.
don't have to answer. So why are
Right.
you interested?
No, Keith, if you're okay, if you follow God, Keith, if you follow God, then you're doing what you're supposed to do. You can't worry about what anybody else does.
That's right. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm supposed to do.
You're also supposed to have grace, Keith. You also have to
I have
grace and
grace.
understanding. Why don't you try
I have
that?
grace. You know why I have grace? Because I'm telling her what the solution is. The solution is
you're not telling the solution. You're making a joke about a woman. That's not telling the solution. That's
and
actually
you, Keith,
you're making it
are
worse.
the devil.
It's not a
You're
woman.
the devil. Why are you interested?
His voice
there is something peculiar about people like you, so-called Christians, heterosexuals, that are consumed with gay
that's okay.
people.
No, we're not going to argue with them. Let him be the example. Let him be.
Do y'all work out in the same gym? Does she change with you? Did y'all get changed together? I mean, do you have firsthand knowledge?
That's a deception.
Oh, Stephen, come on. You know he doesn't have firsthand knowledge.
Then he can't accuse. You can't accuse.
I won't be.
There's trouble in
so
paradise.
Did Bruce Jenner go ahead with his transformation, or is he still more Bruce?
I don't know. We're going to move on. I don't know.
I'm asking Keith. I'm asking Keith.
I want to move on. I want to move on.
Keith would know all about it.
I'm going to move on. Are there any more sports topics that you want to talk about? Soccer. We're going to start getting into soccer big time. But right now, are there any more sports news that anyone has to say?
Yeah, can I finish what I was telling you and Keith earlier? I wanted to save it for the show before we got off sports. It's just really quick, Stacey. In California, you can do all kinds of drugs. They encourage it. They give you the drugs. They give you a place to do the drugs. They give you the stuff to do the apparatus to do it with. To get all that stuff. But you can't gamble in California. So people in California have to do offshore illegal gambling and to go out of state, go to Las Vegas. I don't know who made it illegal, but you can do all kinds of crap in California, get away with it, but you can't gamble. And I have friends in California, and I'm just stepping up for them, hoping that maybe this mostly liberal state would be like, let people do what they want to do. They want to gamble, let them gamble. And look how much money this state is going to make because of gambling. Because that's why we can build all these big buildings, because we're going to be making all this money.
We have gambling casinos all over, Indian gambling casinos in California.
In California. Oh, no. No, I'm sorry. No, you don't have gambling online is what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it ain't casinos. Y'all do have casinos because I've been there, but you don't have gambling online.
Okay, thank you.
My gripe is, why can't you gamble online if you can gamble there?
Well, because
I've never gambled in California, so I was assuming that, but that is right. They can't do it online. So if you can't gamble online and do sports betting in California, why is that? Shouldn't that be? But you can do drugs in the street.
Well, that's up to the state and the citizens, because it's the United States of America, and
it's not an equivalent.
Let's move on.
You just tried to compare the two.
Laguna, the Federal Reserve today said that they would not raise rates. What does that do, and what does that say about the stability of our market?
Well, it's basically saying that some of the things that they put in place to curb off inflation is working. I think part of it is come down a little bit. So they're looking at the economy and the speed in which the economy grew, and and that's why they tried to raise interest rates to kind of slow down that growth. And it shows that it's working because the Fed is like, okay, we don't need to continue to raise interest rates. Now, the back end of that is, we'll see what impact that has on like the housing market and other things. It's definitely going to have impact on the bond market because, again, when interest rates go up, most of the time people start saving their money. They start putting their money into banks, right?
Now they're going to start buying houses.
Now, with interest rates going down, it doesn't mean just because they didn't raise interest rates, though, doesn't mean that interest rates are going to come down. It just means the economy is going to stay.
Right.
A lot of times what happens is people adjust, right? So what happens is we adjust to things. Just like if you took the airlines, at one point you had free bags. Now they put a bag fee on top of it. People complained about it for a couple of months, but then they adjusted. So now they're like, okay, if we plan a flight, we got to make sure we have enough money for bags.
That's right. And finish that thought about the airlines. That was because gas prices went up.
Right.
And so they were trying to, gas prices went down.
And they kept the fees.
Exactly. That's why I
So
wanted you to make that point.
People just got used to spending the money. So
Right.
same thing with inflation. So a lot of things are going to no longer go up. It doesn't mean they're going to come down. It just means that we're going to get used to things staying at this level. So the price of eggs may not go down to $2. It may stay. It may not be $7.99, but it may stay right around $5.99. And it's still higher than what it used to be, but not as high as it is now.
So let's look at this screen. It says this is a article written today by the New York Times, and it says Federal Reserve meeting. Fed leaves rates unchanged for now. The Federal Reserve paused its campaign of interest rate increases for the first time in more than a year, but officials suggested that rates would rise more in 2023 as inflation remains well above the central bank's target. That was written today, updated at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keith, we were talking about this a little earlier, and you had a comment about your credit card use with your wife. Do you want to restate it?
Yeah, I don't mind. She doesn't mind. She came and told me that basically, and my wife is the financier of the family. I like that, leave it that way. I don't have to think about it as much. I just give her the money. But basically, she said to me that, I went to go pay a bill just to pay off my credit card and to bring it down to nothing, or 99 cents. That's what I had as a balance on my credit card, 99 cents. And then I asked the teller, I said, listen, why not just give you the 99 cents? I'll give you $1, whatever it is. And he said, no, you can't pay for it. You can't pay it here like that. You got to do it, the way they send you in the mail and you do it online or whatever. So I couldn't do it that way. I couldn't just give them the money and pay it off. So I left it at that. A month later, I got a bill from the credit card company, $12. That's interest, because of interest. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. I didn't even use the card. I'm at 99 cents balance, which is not overdrawn, overloaded. And yet I still had to pay the $12. So I said, okay, no big deal. I'll pay it off. I mean, but to me, that's a very interesting situation, because I'm wondering, and I guess I can ask Aguna, the expert, Aguna, how is that, how is it such, because of interest? Why is it such a higher rate?
So here's the thing. So you got to look at the terms of your credit card, right? And look at the period of accrued interest, right? So even though your balance was down to 99 cents, if it's in the period in which the interest accrues, it's still going to take it from where the balance previously was, right? So you got to look at that. And I have credit cards that the interest rates are almost 30%. 30% on $1. So for every dollar I spend in accrued interest is going to be 30 cents on top of that. Those are the credit cards I don't use or I pay off monthly. Now, I use credit cards because, again, it's a tool. But if you can't pay your balance off monthly, then you're going to run into that same issue that you did, Keith. Now, you also got to look at there's a difference between the period in which interest is accrued on the credit card versus when your bill is due. It's a different period. So you may have let's say you have a balance of $1,000. Your bill is due on the first of the month, but the interest is accrued on that balance 15 days before the due date. A lot of times banks do that on purpose because people are watching the due date and they aren't reading the terms of the credit card. So what happens is, even though you pay off the credit card as a low balance, they still got you on the 15 days before the balance was due. So you got to be real careful with that. And bottom line of it is, if you can't pay it off, I know most Americans aren't in this position where they can't pay off the balance every month. But you want to be disciplined enough where you're paying off that balance every month so you don't even have to pay. Credit card companies hate that. So the other thing is, if they have rewards and things like that, that's why I use credit cards. I have a credit card for my airlines, and I have a credit card for my hotel stays, and I pay them, and I use them to get hotels and get points. But I look at the terms, and sometimes they have introductory rates in which you don't get any interest for a year. Again, that's how they get you to get the credit card. But as soon as that introductory rate expires, they accrue interest based on the time period from the time you got the credit card. So if you have a balance of $10,000, they're going to accrue interest based on the fact that on the first day that you got that credit card. And so that's going to balloon all the way to the current date. So you just got to be careful about that.
That makes, yeah. Okay. Well, I can pay mine monthly anyway. I mean, we're cool. We're doing fine. We're comfortable. So
make sure you pay it monthly based on the accrued date. So you need to move your due date. You don't have to pay it during the due date. You can pay it during the time it accrues interest. So that's important. It's a different date.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir, for that information.
All right. Thank you. I want to ask Cousin Todd something.
Something about Serena.
Cousin Todd.
We can't hear him.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Cousin Todd, why does Ron DeSantis defend Donald Trump?
I don't know. Maybe he's great in bed.
Oh God! See, you always got to make some kind of. Got to make some sexual comment all the time.
What? I don't. You're the one that's fixated with gay people.
But why'd you have to make that?
I'm telling you, I don't know why Ron DeSantis defends Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he was gay. What do I know?
Donald Trump said he was gay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember.
So, Cousin Todd, why does Mike Pence defend Donald Trump?
Mike Pence? Now it's Mike Pence.
I don't know. Maybe he's great in bed.
All this silence.
You should have a laugh track behind that, a whole crowd laughing. That would be fun.
So let's talk about, I started all this off to say, why are these people defending a man who was just indicted on over 20-something counts? And
36.
Why are they still defending him?
I'll tell you why.
You have Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. And these two people said Donald Trump was the devil. These two people said Donald Trump should not be trusted with the nuclear code. These two people said Donald Trump was horrible. So all of a sudden the change came and now they're defending him. And Marco Rubio is a lawyer and so is Ted Cruz. They really know better, but they know Keith and Stephen don't know better. That's what and I hate them taking advantage of people like you.
You hear that, Steve?
No. I'm not trying to make a joke or anything. I'm telling you this. They know better. They know the law. This is why they prosecuted Hillary Clinton over and over and over and over again, and they couldn't find anything on her.
Yeah, they did.
I want to ask Keith and Stephen these questions.
Well, before you do, I just want to finish out by saying, no, the Republicans were in office and Donald Trump was the president. And Bill Barr did not prosecute Hillary Clinton with all the Republicans because there was nothing there.
That's not true.
He had, wait a minute. Donald Trump was the president. He could have sicked him on Hillary Clinton, and you know it.
I know it.
But he did not because he didn't have anything.
No, Donald Trump said, if you go after her, I will pardon her because it's not good for the country.
Oh,
he said, I will
You're
pardon.
Crazy. You just
no, he said, I will pardon her. Do not go after her. I will pardon her.
Stephen.
That's what he did. Because it was lock me up. Lock me up. Lock me up. No, lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up.
I want to establish something. I want to establish something, Stephen.
Stephen, we're not going to.
Wait a minute, Stephen. I want to establish something. Stephen, let's establish a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Are you a male?
No, Stacey, you really don't have to ask that question, do you?
You had to think about it. You had to
I
think
do.
about it.
No, I was just like,
I do because I don't
put it back.
know, but I want to establish a fact. Are you male?
Okay, what did you establish by this?
Answer the
You're
question.
not answering the question.
That's
Uh-oh.
the truth. You are male.
I identify as an alpha male.
Okay,
Ma'am.
Keith, are you a male?
All the way, 100%.
What does that
Okay.
mean? All the way, 100%.
So,
Alpha,
okay,
alpha.
don't ask
You
him a
didn't say
question,
yes or
Cousin Todd.
no.
Don't ask him a question. So you're both male, so we establish facts. So those are facts. I want to give you examples of facts. So, Stephen, what you said was not a fact.
Yes, it
What
is.
you said is what you thought.
What?
It wasn't a fact.
What
We
was it that I
established what's
said?
a fact and what's not a fact.
What was it that I said, Stacey?
You
I understand.
said if Bill Barr, Donald Trump talking, if Bill Barr files charges against Hillary Clinton, I'll pardon her.
No, I said if anybody goes after her, we're not doing that. If she does get convicted, I will pardon her. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So Donald Trump.
Stacey, are you a woman?
Okay.
Stacey, are you a
None
woman?
of your business.
Let's not.
Are you a woman,
we're not gonna-
Stacey?
We shouldn't waste time.
No, I need to
We shouldn't
hear.
waste
Is she a
time,
woman?
you know.
None of
You
your
didn't
business.
already
Todd,
know.
are you a woman?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
we're going to be talking about facts here in a minute.
So you never answered
Oh,
me,
shut
so
up,
I'm never
lady
going to
boy.
answer you about a fact.
I did. I said I'm an alpha male.
Let me get Aguna in here. Aguna, the Trump indictment, over 20 different what are they called?
Listen up, Stephen.
Aguna, 20 different
37 different charges on. You talking
Counts.
about the
37 counts.
Mhm.
Why waste the court and America's time when we know one or two things are going to happen? He's going to stretch out this whole proceeding until either one, he's pardoned, or two, he becomes president and he pardons himself or throws it out. Why are we wasting America's
Wait a
time?
minute, Stacey. You just assumed a Republican was going to win the presidency. Who would pardon him besides a Republican?
A Democrat called Biden. Go ahead, Aguna.
Yeah, so it's bigger than just like Trump and the political side of it. I think, based on some of the documents that they say are there, you compromise a lot of American USA's interest overseas. You have nuclear information, you got information on allies, spies, and all this other stuff. So it's almost like you have to show that you take your security measures seriously in this country. So the thing is, I know there are going to be a lot of Trump apologists out here saying he's a victim and that he doesn't deserve to be indicted on these charges. But you also have to realize that, what is really being a victim? He's the president of the United States. He's not a victim. This whole victim thing is like very narcissistic. But anyway.
But he was not president when he took those papers.
He was.
Well, so the thing is, it doesn't matter. It matters that if he's this reckless with secret documents and taking them and putting them in some laundry room down in Mar-a-Lago, what else is he? I mean, this guy doesn't deserve to be.
You can say the same thing about Mike Pence.
Let's just move on. Let's get away.
What about
okay? Let's be fair.
I don't want to hear what
about Joe Biden? If you're going to say,
he should not have had the documents, and when the National Archives came and asked for them, he should have given them back. He did not. He obstructed justice.
Nobody came and asked Trump for them back. The FBI went through all of this stuff, told him to keep it under lock and key, and that's what they did. That's the truth. What you're doing is lying. What you're doing is lying.
Okay, wait a minute, Stephen. Hold on, Stephen. Wait a minute, Keith. My question is for Keith. Keith.
Well, I haven't finished my point.
You can't go on all night, Aguna.
So my point is this. We have to keep the integrity of the country. We have to uphold the way we store our documents. We have to hold people accountable because it sends a message of our democracy to the world. So it's bigger than just Trump and these Trump apologists trying to make excuses for him. It's
We're
about
not.
our democracy.
I'm not an apologist. I'm not trying to make an
You
excuse.
are.
I'm not.
Anytime you defend that foolishness, you defend the indefensible, you're an
I
apologist.
am not.
Former President
I know
Trump
you are, but what am I?
had documents that did not belong to him because he was no longer the president. Is that correct?
No.
No, it's not correct.
Okay,
And why is
correct
that?
her quickly.
Why-
so
why
let's
is
move
that
on,
not
Stacey,
correct?
because, I mean, we can't establish
Because
this.
he was president when he left the White House.
Why is that not correct?
Well, it's not correct because Article 2 of the Constitution says, I repeat, it says the executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States of America. When he was president,
that has nothing to do with the documents.
Wait a
They
minute,
belong to
Gunnar.
the
Let
American
him
people.
finish.
Not him.
Wait.
Let him finish,
It
please.
is not. That's a bunch of nonsense.
Aguna,
Okay, but wait,
please
let
let
him
him
go.
finish.
Okay.
now when he was president, he declassified documents which he took
He
upon
admitted that he didn't.
when Biden was senator, he
Uh-huh.
he
We're talking
accumulated
about Trump.
documents, and he was
We're
a
talking
senator
about Trump.
at the time, not the president of the United
Okay.
States.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Does
you.
have it.
Thank you. You're not answering my questions.
You
Okay.
didn't
I
answer the
tried to
question.
establish what was
I
true,
answered
what
it.
are
You
facts.
said,
Excuse me. I tried to establish what were facts and what were not truths.
that's
I
not
said, are you male, Keith and Stephen? And Keith, you said 100%. I said,
Yeah.
was President Trump the president of the United States when he took the documents and had them in Mar-a-Lago? You said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when he was not president and the documents were still in Mar-a-Lago, why did he not return them?
Because he doesn't have to.
Yes, he does.
Didn't have.
He does not.
Okay, wait. Now go to Stephen so he can say this point and we can
No,
move
he
on.
does not have to.
He
No,
can
I'm
say
going to
it.
get Stephen, then I'm going to
He
Nas.
is 1/3 of the government, him by himself. The other
He's no longer in
2 parts of
office.
the government is made
He
up
just
by
said he
many,
wasn't in
many
office.
people. The president has the power to declassify anything he wants.
He didn't
Y'all
declassify.
are listening to your talking
Okay.
points, and people are lying to you.
And
So
then
you
what?
don't know what the
Finish,
He's no
truth
longer
is.
president,
The
Stephen.
president has the
Can you
power.
finish?
Your president doesn't have the power when he was vice president and senator to take all that crap out. Donald Trump was secure.
Okay.
Joe Biden's wasn't secure. There was a building that was
Okay.
shared with the Communist
wasn't
Chinese
secure.
Party where Biden's stuff was. Plus in his garage, that wasn't secure because his son was in his garage. You
Okay.
are putting all of
right. Thank you.
your crap on Donald Trump because you're on the left and you have to go after him.
All
But
right.
the real culprit, the real bad guy is Joe Biden.
Okay.
And that's
All
not
right.
whatever. That's not, I'm not comparing
Okay.
nothing.
All right.
Okay,
That's
thank
the
you. Excuse
truth.
me. We have
Thank you,
Nas.
Stephen.
Good evening.
Thank
Welcome,
you. Thank you,
Nas, to
Stephen. You just
Sporlitiks,
proved
where
our
sports
point.
and politics
Yeah,
meet
yeah.
Mingle. Hey, Nas, how you doing? Why did
I did everything right, and they indicted.
right.
That's what he said. I don't know. I don't know if that's a correct quote, but I try. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing? So, anyone who took documents, Nas, whether it be President Biden, President Trump, President Obama, Vice President Pence, or Hillary Clinton, if they took those documents and kept them when they were not in those particular positions, were they incorrect to do so?
It depends on what the relationship with the National Archives was. If the National Archives had said, yeah, it's okay for you to have those documents, then it's fine. But if the National Archives tells you, whoa, you've got some problematic stuff here that nobody needs to have. Matter of fact, these things are a security breach, and we got to make sure we get those back. We need those back right now. And you say, okay, I'll give them back. And then not only do you not give them back, you start traveling with them. You put them on your private jet. When you go places, you take boxes of material with you. Why? Who the hell knows? If you hate Trump, you say nefarious reasons, like he wants to sell it. If you're a person who has kind of gotten used to just Trump nonsense, you say, man, the old dude likes to brag. Maybe he wanted to show some people or whatever. Then you look at the Saudi Arabia deal and you wonder, okay, maybe they did get their $2 billion worth of giving you and Jared money when you see something like this. But this is one of the, I always thought it would be something to where he got caught blatantly doing something out in the open. I didn't think it would be like this self-inflicted, shooting yourself in the foot, weird thing like this, to finally, be the thing that takes him down. And right now, his supporters, man, this is getting real sad. Like, they're trying to change time. Well, he was president during the time. Like, they're saying anything at this point. Like, his supporters, I can't even argue with him and get mad, because this is just pitiful.
So,
like, I don't even think Stephen's heart is in his argument. He's doing his fake Stephen rant. But
I like the way he changed it in the middle of the argument. It's like he changed his position in the middle of the argument.
How did I change my position? How did I change my position?
He was president. He wasn't but Joe Biden.
When you buy into a con, man,
Joe Biden wasn't the president.
You start looking.
He did it again.
The president has the power.
Wait.
Okay, cousin Todd.
Well, let Nas finish.
Power for us, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Say that again.
Schwarzenegger.
Said the president has the power. I don't know if
he does. The vice president, the senator, they don't have power to declassify anything.
Right.
The president
Go ahead,
does.
cousin Todd.
Okay.
He's not the president anymore.
Let me say this, because I think Stephen is really confused, not deliberately so. He's just confused. When once somebody else wins the presidency, now, if in fact you think Donald Trump won the election, I can understand your argument. But unfortunately, he lost. And so therefore, when he left the White House, he was no longer president and had no business taking those papers with him.
So you're saying,
now just get that part straight.
But you're saying when he left the White House, he came back when he knocked on the door and asked Joe Biden, "Can I come in here and collect some stuff?"
Oh God. Listen, Stephen, I'm going to try this one more time and then I have to move on. When he left the White House, he was no longer president. So when he had all of his aides and boyfriends loading those boxes onto the plane, that was wrong to do. He should not have done that. So that's why he got in trouble. But even though he took them, that was okay. Because they said, Mr. Trump, you have to send those back. And he said, oh, okay. And he sent some of them back. But he kept the rest. And the archives knew it and said, Mr. Trump, would you please send the rest of those papers back?
It's not true.
And he said,
it's not true.
He waited for a year and a half. Did you all read the indictment? Yes or no, Keith and Stephen? Yes.
Nobody. You haven't read it.
Okay.
You haven't read the indictment.
Okay.
So you're just making stuff up.
Stop talking now. Stop talking. So he waited a year and a half before this. They sent subpoenas. He did nothing. And he asked his lawyers, can we ignore this? We don't have to play ball with them. And the lawyer said, so he was trying to avoid. That is what he's charged with. He was supposed to give those papers back, and he said no.
You did good, Todd.
And so he didn't do what he was supposed to do. That's why he got in trouble. Joe Biden did what he was supposed to do.
No, he didn't.
Pence did what he was supposed to do. He said, hey, we got these documents. We're going to give them back.
And that's what Pence did. When Pence found out he had these documents, they gave
him back.
And they cooperated.
And we're not talking about
both
party.
Of them.
Pence is Republican. We're not talking about Bush probably had some, and he probably gave them back. We're not talking about.
They don't have to give them. You don't have to give them back, Stacey. Obama has them. Nobody has to give them back.
Okay, excuse me.
Again,
so, Stephen, let me ask you this, Stephen.
The president don't give these documents back.
Stephen, let me ask you this. So if you have my money, I handed you. You took some of my. We went out to dinner, right? I put the money down to pay the check. You took all the money that I put down to pay the check. Is that your money? And you don't have to give it back?
It's not the same.
That's the president. That's nothing to do with the president taking whatever records he wants. The president has always had that privilege.
He's not the president.
We just said he wasn't president anymore.
He was president when anything that the president did was allowed.
Okay, excuse me. Right now,
this is not even about a trial. This isn't about a trial. This is
Steven,
about
stop.
He's
this
gonna
is just
Steven.
throwing shade on Donald
Audience, I
Trump.
want you to
It's
see.
just
Listen to
throwing
what Steven's
shade.
going to say. It's
Steven.
called gaslighting. Go ahead,
More
Steven.
shade.
Steven. Now, Mike Pence is a
This is very
Republican. He was
confusing.
vice president for Donald Trump. He found out he had documents when he was no longer vice president. That means he has no right to hold on to those documents.
Citizen. Yes.
Those documents belong to the United States of America. They don't belong to him. They are not Mike Pence's. Let me finish. They are not Mike Pence's documents. So Mike Pence, Republican, had to give them back.
Vice president.
He did.
And he cooperated.
The vice president. That's why.
So wait a minute. It doesn't matter.
You want a dictator.
Excuse me. Stop talking, you all. My point is,
he just said he wasn't the vice president anymore. Talking. But he missed what you said.
I don't
care. He wasn't vice president anymore.
I don't care. My point is this. Mike Pence was no longer vice president and he was Republican. So I'm not siding on the Democrat side because Keith and Stephen are going to say I'm siding on a Democrat. So I'm not even going to talk about a Democrat.
It's not about Republicans or Democrats. It's about Mike Pence being a direct opposite of Donald Trump. Mike Pence is over here to the left. Donald Trump's over here to the right. That's why it doesn't matter if he's a Republican, Stacey. Mike Pence is Joe Biden.
Donkey stuff.
Mike Pence is Joe Biden.
So you're not hearing me. So let me finish my point, Stephen, because I let you go and finish your
point.
Go
ahead. I thought you were done.
Audience, just for the record, Mike Pence audience is to the left, according to Stephen.
You haven't given me that courtesy, the same courtesy I've given you. And my point was, if Mike Pence was no longer vice president of the United States and he had nothing to do with the documents, that means he had nothing to do with the documents that he previously had something to do with when he was vice president.
Right.
They don't belong to him. So he has to return them. So let me do a little something different, Keith and Stephen. Keith, when you worked for the LA School District and you had their ID and you left the LA School District, you no longer work for the LA School District. The LA School District ID belongs to the LA School District, not to you. You have to return it. That's what people do in their jobs. When they leave their job, they return the property that belongs to the company that they worked for. Why is it that Donald Trump is not required to return the property that doesn't belong to him?
And if he forgot, that's okay.
Stop. First, Keith, then Stephen.
I'm just trying to block them from doing their Trump stuff.
Don't try to help me. Don't help me. Keith, why do you not have to return property from the LA School District to the LA School District?
Well, before I answer that, can you provide for me any
I want you to answer my question.
I will answer your question the way I want to answer it. Can you provide for me any documentation where Trump refused to give back whatever it is that he was supposed to give back?
Yes.
They can't.
It's in the indictment.
You haven't seen the indictment.
We have.
We read it. Crazy.
You read it.
You read it, Evan? You read all 37 indictments?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead.
Very light read.
Stephen,
bring it on.
If you leave your job and you have their truck.
Why'd you let Keith off the hook? You left Keith off the hook.
No, I didn't let him off the hook. He said he was going to answer it any way he wanted to. So I'm going to move on because he didn't answer my question. So
you let him off the hook. He didn't have an answer.
You work for a company and you have to return that company car. Do you keep that company car after you no longer work for the company?
So you've elevated me to the level of the president of these here United States. Thank you, Stacey, and Keith as well. We're elevated to the level of the most powerful person at the time when they're president. No, Stacey, they're privileged. I'm sorry, whatever channels or whatever stations or whatever you get your news or your papers are screwing your head with this. It's all BS. He's the president and he can do it. And presidents have done it forever. Your precious Barack Obama has a whole building full of the stuff he took out of there. This is what they do. Y'all are making garbage up or you're hearing people that are making garbage up, and you can't decipher what the truth is. That's what the problem is right now. Donald Trump was the president. He was 1/3 of our country's government. He's one by himself, and he has privileges that I don't have at my job, that Aguna doesn't have at your job, and Stacey and nobody on the show or anybody listening. There's one president that has privileges that we don't have, and they have they have security all the time, Secret Service all the time. He did nothing nefarious. It's going to be proven, and this is just more garbage than the FBI has been going after Trump. The CIA, everybody's been going after Trump. That's on and they're involved on the left. Everybody has. So when that tells you that, you got to be smart enough, an independent thinker, to know that if your entire government and your ABC people, your FBI, your CIA, if they're all going after this guy, why is that? Yeah. Why is that? They lied. They got papers they signed. They got a bunch of people that said he had colluded with Russia. Had 41 people from the FBI, CIA, NSA.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Something would have stuck by now. This is just more garbage from the left. Y'all are politics. Y'all, it's not politics. Y'all can't see anything.
We didn't take the documents to Mar-a-Lago. Why are you attacking us?
I let you talk. Thank you.
Why are you attacking us? We didn't take the documents down there.
And then Aguna. Go ahead, Nas.
Ultimately, like, you're not going to convince people who have, dug 10 toes down in on a certain position. They're just going to stick with that position. They're going to refuse to read the actual indictment. They're going to refuse to learn new details because in their mind, as long as that's their guy, they're going to ride with their guy. So to me, we should just make this more interesting and get into the more funny parts of this whole situation. So when Trump's lawyer comes down to Mar-a-Lago, because, the National Record Archives Office has already talked to him. Hey, we need these documents. It's very important. We need you to get these documents. He goes down to see Trump. Trump's chilling in Mar-a-Lago. He tells him, hey, you can go in the back room, make yourself comfortable. You can get the papers from back there. So he goes back there and immediately finds 3 or 4 different top secret labeled documents on top of the boxes. He says, oh, hell, he really does have this stuff. This is crazy. So he packs all the stuff up, loads it up to get it back to the National Archives, but he has to have Trump sign a waiver saying this is everything that I have. These are all the documents that they have asked for. So now the lawyers get nervous because he knows once he gives that paper to Trump and Trump signs it, he also has to sign it and say, and once you sign it, now you are possibly going to be in some legal trouble if this is not all of the documents. So, of course, what happened? He signed, he asked Trump, are you sure this is all the stuff? Yeah, that's it. That's all of it. Promise, that's it. That's all. You know me. I'm a good guy. Okay, cool. Signs it. Turns it in. National Record Archives responds to them immediately the next day. Not only is this not all the documents, this is barely 1/3 of them. He has a lot more. So now you also see why these different lawyers are quitting and not representing him, because he can get you in trouble legally and try to skate himself later, but he can also ruin your whole career. And then there's the other part of, he probably won't pay you. So to me, the funny in all of this is the part that we can't leave out, because again, when you're talking to certain Trump supporters, they're never going to be able to get over this stuff, man. It's like you're going to need an intervention to get some of these people out of the position that they're in. The rest of us who are neutral on stuff, who can just look at the story for what it is, and you can see that a sitting president basically behaves like the manager at,
Wawa.
You're like, man, of course you would say blah,
a former sitting president. Okay, so let me, Aguna.
Yeah, so this is hilarious. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm showing the screen, which is the actual indictment itself.
All a distraction.
Now, Stephen, did you hear what she just said?
Yeah, all of us.
That's the indictment, and that's
you didn't read it, Todd. I said you didn't read it, Todd.
Oh gosh.
I said you didn't read it, Todd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you have an aversion to reading.
Let's look at this indictment. So the indictment says After his presidency, Trump was not authorized to possess.
Did you hear after? You have to be specific for dum-dums like Keith and Stephen. After. First
After
word
his
there.
presidency, Trump was
Dum-dum.
not authorized to possess or retain classified documents. Executive order. Oh man, sorry. I lost it just that quick. I was moving too fast. Page 7. Let me go back to page 7.
Go ahead, take your time, Stacey.
Executive order 13526 provided that a former president could obtain a waiver of the need to know requirement if the agency head or senior agency official of the agency that originated the classified information determined in writing that access was consistent with the interests of national security and took appropriate steps to protect classified information from unauthorized disclosure or compromise, and ensure that the information was safeguarded in a manner consistent with the order. Trump did not obtain any such waiver after his presidency. Aguna.
Wait, you got to let Stephen know that this goes to the heart of what Stephen kept saying. He's the president. The president can do anything he wants to do. He's three-fifths of a human.
Stacey,
So,
the question, what you just read, my question is, what you just read is interesting because when the FBI seized his papers, seized the documents, took them, is that equivalent to saying, I don't want to give them to you? But you're going to take
go ahead,
Yes.
Aguna.
Yeah,
I
so
was talking to Aguna. I'll get
at
back
the end
to
of the
you.
day, so I'm gonna talk to our viewers. I can't talk to the echo chamber over here.
all
Let's
these
talk to our
documents,
viewers.
none of them
It's
were
not just about. It's not
compromised.
just about Keith. You had your chance, so it's not just about the fact that he had them. He didn't give them back, and even when he had the opportunity, he still didn't give them back. Right?
Yet they
So
took
then
them.
they were still willing to work with him and try to work it out. But at the same time, he obstructed justice, and he
Well,
had
he
them
wouldn't have
stored
been
in a place
charged.
that was not authorized to have them. It wasn't a
Sounds
skip.
to me like they're
So they
property.
didn't have, again, as you can see, I'm talking to you, audience. I can't talk. You see how the echo chamber tries to interrupt because I'm talking
well, you
fast.
do the same
All right.
thing.
So the bottom line of it is
Like
we're
you never.
trying to, it's bigger than just Trump. It's about following protocols. If protocols weren't followed, we owe it to our country to make sure that there is the right, punishment for the crime. If there was no crime committed, okay, he's going to be fine and acquitted or whatever. He did not have the documents. He did not have a need to know. He could have got that by just following the rules. He chose not to. And not only did he not follow the rules, but he then obstructed the rules from being followed. That's what he's being punished for. So we as Americans should want to see some type of punishment for this action, because if he doesn't do it, other presidents are going to do it. He's no other former presidents. Let's be clear, former presidents. So
And
it's
it doesn't matter what party.
upholding
It's
our
about
democracy. That
taking
little
care
piece of paper
of
that Keith
America.
keeps waving, he doesn't even want to uphold the Constitution. This is trying to uphold our democracy.
Show me where.
More garbage. Just
I
garbage.
just
Yeah,
showed
because
you.
did he go to
I
the gift
just
shop? Did he
showed you.
register?
We
No,
have-
he
Show me-
didn't.
we have a republic.
For some
Aguna, we
reason,
have a republic,
is
not a.
above
We don't have
the
a
law.
democracy,
In
Aguna.
Stephen's
We have a
mind-
republic.
And again, I'm not
I
talking to
can't.
Stephen.
I can't.
I'm not talking to the donkey. I'm talking to our audience. In his mind,
Hey, audience, we don't have a democracy.
Trump is above the law and is a victim.
All of a
He didn't break the law.
Shame. Pull
It'll be
yourself up.
proven he didn't break the law.
He is not
It'll
above
be-
the
Okay,
law.
thank you.
He should
All
be
right.
punished
No one
for
is.
breaking
Let me
the
go
law.
to
Joe
Keith.
Biden is.
And we're
Joe
running
Biden's
out of
above the
time.
law.
We're running out of
Doing it
time.
again.
Keith,
I'm gonna start playing Joe Biden bingo.
I want to
How many
give
times Stephen says Joe
Keith an
Biden?
opportunity for his question. Keith, you have to make it very succinct. What was your question? Very, very short. Make it short.
I already asked.
Is he asking it to you, Stacey?
I don't know.
I already asked the question. They all talked over it, so that's it.
Don't give up now.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
go on.
Fine with me.
Move on.
Cool.
Thank you. I think we're out of time. We're going to start shutting down much earlier than we have in the past. Let's start with our roundtable. First with Keith, Stephen, Nas, Aguna, and then Cousin Todd. And you have about 35 seconds to say whatever it is you choose to say.
Well,
Keith.
well, let's see. I tell you, I really like this part of the Declaration of Independence that says, we appeal to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions. In other words, rectitude meaning righteousness, judgment, and so forth. We have two-tiered justice system right now. We have one that says, one that treats Trump one way and another that treats Biden a different way. So we're going to see if the supreme judge of the world, once he will
shut up
decision. And you see, this is what really annoys people like Nas. I know it does, because in your soul, you thought to know the truth, but you deny the truth. You don't want the truth. And therefore, the truth is going to come back to bite you. And I thank God for that. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Stephen.
Well, like Keith is saying, they cover up, they protect Joe Biden, they protect his son Hunter. They for 5 years they've had all this information. They have tapes now of the Biden family taking bribes from Barista, which is the son was in charge of. The CEO made tapes. This is going to be coming out soon, hopefully. We have the most corrupt president that has ever lived, but we keep on going falsely. They go full speed out after Trump. They make up things on Trump. They make up things on Trump. They have. It has been proven that they made up stuff on Trump that were all lies. The FBI, CIA, and they've all made up lies on him. But they protect Joe Biden. That's what they do. But they go after Donald Trump, and this is the biggest. This is why the election was stolen. Was it not a stolen election? When you have the FBI, the CIA, of course. Is it not being compromised now with all these minor fake?
Minor?
Yeah, minor. All of it's minor. All of it. He paid a prostitute. That came back up. All they're trying to do is disparage him. But they let Joe Biden, who we know is compromised. Joe Biden is compromised.
I let you go much longer, Stephen.
To many different countries.
But you can't. You don't have an unlimited amount of time. Thank you.
His day is coming.
I split my time evenly among Aguna
His
and
day coming.
Okay, thank you.
Can I tell a story real?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hit mute by mistake, Aguna. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's the sound.
Tell a story. It's a story of the donkey and the tiger. So a donkey and a tiger were arguing over the color of the grass. The donkey said it was blue. The tiger said it was green. So the donkey said, "Let's go ask the lion, the king of the jungle, what the color of the grass is. I'm tired of arguing with you." So the donkey goes to the lion and says, "Hey, lion, I tried to tell this dumb tiger that the grass was blue. Isn't the grass blue and not green?" And the lion said, "You are correct. The grass is blue, not green. In fact, I'm going to punish the tiger by he's no longer able to say anything for the rest of his life because, of this argument." And so the donkey runs off. And so the tiger is like, "Okay, I'm going to accept my punishment from the lion." But he said, why are you punishing me? Because you know that we both know that the grass is green." He says, "I'm not punishing you because whether the grass is green or blue. I'm punishing you for bringing that stupid behind donkey to argue the color of the grass." He's like, you can't waste your time arguing with donkeys because they don't want to accept facts. They don't want to accept truth. They don't want to accept, they just are arguing to argue. So
that's why they're called Democrats. That's why the donkey is a Democrat.
Here they come. Here they come.
That's why the donkey is a Democrat.
Thank you, Aguna.
They don't want to talk about
You're the donkey, and you don't even know you're the donkey. You don't even know you're the donkey. That's how smart you are, Aguna. You don't even know you're the donkey. Hee-haw.
Thank you.
You don't even know you're the donkey. That's brilliant.
Oh, you're on mute,
Keith.
cousin Todd. Okay, I'm sorry. That was me. I hit you on mute. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I think Stephen and Keith, I don't know if it's deliberate that we talk about the indictment and they didn't read it, but they want to say, you didn't read it. You didn't read it. Now, they did not read it because you were just reading it. And the first word was after his presidency. That means he was no longer president. And we said he had no business taking those papers home. But they skipped right over that and keep saying, when you're the president, you're 3/5 a human. They keep going on and on about this. So he wasn't the president. He had no business taking them. But that was okay, even though he took them. If he had given them back, he wouldn't have been charged. Like, for example, he wasn't charged for the papers he already stole and gave back. He wasn't charged with that. It's when he refused to give them back, when he ignored the subpoena and had his lawyers lie and say, we don't have any more papers. That's when you get in trouble. So Joe Biden never did that. Mike Pence never did that. They said, okay, here, go and send the FBI so they can find him. Joe Biden and Pence were on the up and up, not Trump. Trump, it was like a con artist. You remember, Stephen and Keith, when you all said Trump is a con artist? Trump has no business even running for the presidency. Remember, Stephen?
But
Stephen said,
he takes it to the libs, though.
Stephen said, Donald Trump is a dictator. He thinks he's king. And on and on and on.
But
and
I love everybody.
Yeah.
I still have my problems with Donald Trump, but he's nothing compared to what the left has done.
Jesus Christ, man.
Nothing. He's done nothing compared to as bad as Joe Biden has done for this country.
I think you have to let Todd finish because we got to get out of here. We're out of time.
When
Todd, you're out of time.
Part of that indictment is when people that work for him are telling on him that he's showing papers to people that weren't supposed to see him. Those are confidential papers. And he's bragging about them.
Stop and defending the indefensible.
So
if they have something on him, Todd, then they have something on him.
Yes, they do. That's in the indictment.
And you know what?
Then
we have 12 people right behind him. We have 12 people behind him. You have nothing on your side. Nobody wants your side anymore.
Read the indictment, Stephen. You can. It's online.
He let you talk.
All right, go ahead.
We have 12 people on our side.
If you just
running for president.
If you just read the indictment, Stephen and
Keith, not a Republican,
then you would know what he was being charged for. You would know exactly what he did and when he did it. Just read it, and it's easy. It's no legalese, none of that. It's just easy. He did this, he did that.
Todd. We're out of time. Thank you. So I do want to say it is LGBTQ plus month.
Oh, Keith's favorite.
This is Keith's favorite.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Keith.
And if you look at ABC News, it says that the Detroit area city bans LGBTQ plus pride flags on a public property. That's a problem. And
why is that a problem?
Why do you think it's a problem?
Public
property.
On public property?
Well, you see it?
I don't like Confederate flags on public property either. So
all right.
I think that because it's of well, anyway. I think
that's a good comparison.
Private, you can have whatever flag you want.
We can't have that.
You putting a rainbow flag on the state capitol or something? I don't know.
All right.
They put it on the White House.
To our first responders.
I'm not a big fan of that.
No. And men with fake boobs shook their boobs standing at the White House. They shook their fake boobs. Men did.
And of course, you were fixated on it, Stephen.
No, I didn't watch it. I heard about it.
Of course, your boyfriend told you all about it, right?
I mean, I'll say live and let live, but keep your
stop all of this. Stop all this. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable.
Bring it up.
Thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the Nigerian
love
model
everybody.
Republican. Keith, the constitutional conservative. Stephen,
Is that a
the
big?
independent thinker. Nas, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Nas is down there. He's that
Yeah,
whole blob.
And
Little
my
donkeys.
cousin Todd. Check us
Okay.
out.
Just stand up. Well, y'all got to her today, boy.
And
Say that
Aguna
again?
is so two-faced. I can't
How am
deal
I
with
two-faced?
that.
What did I do? I just said.
Wait, y'all didn't hear what Nas said. Listen to what
was
Nas
that,
said. Listen to what Nas said. Go ahead, say it again, Nas.
I've never heard Stacey this fed up. Y'all got to her today, boy. Man.
He's never heard me this fed up. Y'all got to me
Yeah,
today.
she
Oh.
put everybody on mute.
No.
Even herself. She put everybody on mute. We
You
just looking at each
would
other.
think it would be just an easy thing for, like, if you really were a supporter of somebody, you were a fan, to at least look up some talking points to argue with the other side instead of just yelling and making weird noises and southern preacher
Well, they
voices.
get-
Whatever y'all be doing.
Or
Yeah,
telling
they
weird
don't-
stories.
Donkeys do.
Telling weird children's stories.
If you're gonna do this,
No,
45,
don't.
then you just be good at it. Don't look up the talking points that the people are using on Fox. Like,
Don't look
you
up
guys were horrible today, man.
All right, thank you. Good night. We'll see you next week.
You gotta shoot from the hip.
Stacey, why did you bring up that thing at the end?
You got no hips.
Why did you bring up that at the end? You shouldn't have brought that up if you didn't want people to talk about it.
I shouldn't have brought what up if I didn't want people to talk about what.
the flag. About the flag, and then you shut everybody down. You shouldn't have done that.
Okay, that
What
was
was it?
my round table. Remember, everyone was doing
Okay, I'm
round
leaving.
tables.
I'm
Everyone was
leaving.
Open to
Gotta go.
everyone to comment. That was
Aguna
my
is two-faced
round
and
table.
Why?
double
Because I don't want a
talky,
flag.
and
Because
you can't. That's a false equivalent. The
Confederate flag.
Confederate flag, and get out of my
I
face.
think
You
the
sound
Confederate
just like
flag
Keith
is a
and
slight bit
Stephen.
worse, but I
A
think
slight bit
You should have
worse.
said
Are
a
you
swastika,
What
Aguna.
do
You
you
should have
mean?
said
A
swastika.
slight bit
Flag.
worse.
It was
Are you
my
high?
round table.
no.
Bye.
I think
It was
it's
my
a
round
separatist,
table,
a
and on
failed
my
separatist
round
movement is
table,
worse than a
I put
sexual
on there
preference.
You said
what I
slightly.
want to put on there.
Yeah,
I'm
My
through
round
with
table,
you.
Keith,
I don't
We're
agree
wanna
with
put
either
on
one
there.
of them.
Keith,
I
on
mean,
your
just
round
have the
table,
American flag.
you put on what you want to put on. So that's what I
Well,
did.
I'm done. Now Aguna is like Keith and Stephen to me.
The
Bye,
state flag and the
Felicia.
American flag.
Get out of my
over-
face.
What?
You
Oh,
see how he is?
he slammed that phone on your ear. He just
See
slammed
how
that
he-
phone down on your ear.
Well, you see how he is? I told you.
Hey, but
Y'all
that
should
doesn't
have
mean.
some kind of defense for your boy, man.
That's a real strong issue.
All right,
for
good
him.
night. We're out of time. See you
Even
next
if
week.
private companies want to fly the flag, they can do it. But I mean, public. Okay. All right. Anyway. All right. Cool. Y'all take
Good
care.
night. Peace and love.